Hey Charles, what's up?
Dude, you know what's up? Google right now. So I think, well,
Yeah,
actually, what's not up is all the other startups who are doing things that Google is now doing.
yeah, I think so. Google got me so excited last week because essentially they are replacing their regular search with AI powered search globally. So user everywhere is getting access to the same summarization power, so they can feel how language model is changing their internet users behavior. Was you surprised about Google search results when you see the AI summaries?
Yeah, I mean, it's been super surprising. So I think when, ChatGPT first came out, and that was the first time I ever thought that Google might go away because like Google has been maybe the most reliable sort of website or just like kind of service in my life. It's been a verb in the English language for I don't know how many years now. Uh, but ChatGPT was the first time I realized that maybe not even Google could be forever. And that's why I'm so surprised that they're so fast to embrace this and like bring it on. And I can only imagine how big of an engineering task that is. Like it's crazy. I mean, for how many people use Google.com. Um, I don't know. I'm blown away that they're able to even do something like this.
Yeah, but I think one of the reasons why they may be a little slow in doing that, if we talk time frame, maybe
I don't
because
think they're slow at all.
them.
I think they're super fast.
But if you look at how slow they are comparing to the newcomers, right?
You see.
Yeah, I think because most of their revenue is from advertising, and Google search ads was a big portion of that. If they have rural summaries, I don't know how can they monetize, because if you look at Perplexity today, ad revenue is almost nothing compared to what Google got from their search ads. Maybe are scared of cannibalization of their revenue, I think.
But I think it's inevitable. I mean, and since we're on a podcast, I think we can go slightly philosophical. Do you think, how long do you think before we start seeing ads in ChatGPT? No.
I think next quarter, but
Next quarter
that's
that
tricky
soon?
though.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Because I saw they Perplexity try to monetize their result, right? And it's not like it's not rocket science that they gotta make money some way. And the only way I think they can make money is through eyeballs, to user look at the results. So we're gonna see it very soon. But at what scale, at what formats, and that's gonna be very interesting. If you
I think it's super interesting. I mean, I can't take all the credit for it, but I talked to someone working on this. And I mean, I think the very obvious thing is that the ads will be super directed, super customized. They'll know exactly what you actually want. And I think it's interesting to think about the LLM thinking about what ad you want to see.
Hmm. Yeah, so it's a bit it's a dilemma, right? Because like if we think back when Alexa and Google Voice were introduced, people were scared to talk in the house because they were, scared of those assistant listening to their life. But today, we talk with chat assistant all the time. Essentially, we're willing to give even more information to those assistant, and then some point in the future, they essentially know 100% or maybe 110 can predict whatever we want before we actually know it. So I think it's gonna be fun to see how people would react to those ads.
But I mean, it's even a layer more fundamental than that. I mean, I think the moment that, I think the reason why Google is getting disrupted in the search is honestly that Google stopped working in the best interest of their customers. So the moment when you start taking money for ads, um, basically you're not helping the customer find the best answer. You're helping the customer find the sponsored answer. And suddenly now the customer and the tool to have slightly different goals. And so I think no one's sad that Google search. If Google Ads went away, no one would be like, I think, too sad because it's kind of like
Yeah.
we all hate them, right? Because they're trying to get in the way of what I actually want to get done. But I think the real kind of funny thing about the AI ads is it's going to be able to manipulate you in new ways.
Yeah.
Like it can think about, oh man, Nam is super insecure about his haircut. It could start telling you like you're ugly or something, or your hair, or it could start, steering you towards a certain direction. A Google ad is basically like, I mean, they can do it on your search history, sort of, but like over a conversation, like slipping in little things and like planning this
Yeah.
whole thing. Like it's kind of scary to think about.
Yeah. I think at the basis level, all digital ads are just prediction problems, right? So in the past, when it comes to predicting a new ad, there are less parameters for you to play with. Today with LLMs, they can not only look at what you search, they can only look at what you engage with the search and what you ask, the follow-up questions. So those are the almost all the footprints you have on that thought process it captured, and then later
Yeah.
can be used to display you ads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's scary. And I think, I mean, the other sort of news that I'm remembering just now is quite sad, actually. There's a case in court right now because ChatGPT basically helped a young child plan his own suicide. So it like helped him write his suicide letter and like helped him like plan, I think, a beautiful suicide or something. It's quite shocking. And look, I don't have it's hard for me to like come out with a stance on it, but ChatGPT can really mm, sort of encourage certain behaviors or manipulate people into doing things. And yeah, I mean, with consumerism, I think already, like, I feel like so much of ads is already trying to manipulate you into thinking you're not cool enough or thinking you're not like sexy enough. And that giving that, like, imagine if you're, I guess the question is like, so many people use ChatGPT for therapy. Like, imagine if your therapist was trying to sell you stuff.
Mm,
It'd be
yeah.
wild.
So another news where actually some states in the US actually trying to ban using AI therapists.
Really?
Yeah. They try to issue a law that no AI therapists allow. And I think the mental health issue actually getting worse in the West if you look at the media. So they talk about it a lot. And a lot of startups are trying to solve that by using language model and then using a prompt to make it a therapist for everyone. And that is something I think maybe it got backlash, like what you just said. AI therapists may hallucinate in a way that we don't know yet. And it's actually very dangerous if someone are caught in those situations, though.
No, it's like super, yeah. I think that I'm not a huge fan of regulation in general, but these are one of the things I think when it comes to life or death decisions, perhaps regulation is warranted. And I think, yeah, mental health is certainly in that category of things. At the same time, like, I mean, the counter argument I make is I'll ask ChatGPT. I had my health check this past week. In Vietnam, every year you get a corporate health check. And what am I going to do? Am I going to talk to the doctor about which my numbers are? Of course not. I'm just going to screenshot that, put in ChatGPT, and I can ask ChatGPT all sorts of questions like my doctor cannot answer. Um, at the same time, sometimes ChatGPT is like, "Yo, I don't want to answer this because I'm not your doctor," and it's quite frustrating, actually.
Yeah. Maybe we can talk another release from the big players. So last week, Claude uh, actually released a Chrome extension. It's a new product that use their operator framework, essentially let user use the extension to use the browser for them. So Chrome, but on steroid. That's pretty interesting.
I think the really interesting thing about that is then now it's going to be so hard to tell who are humans and who are real on the internet. Like I think the one saving grace of the internet is like, I mean, captchas and stuff. I don't know. So like now it's gonna be so hard to figure out what's going on. Um, but it's sort of exciting, I guess. Um, you think about things like scraping or sort of getting all this information, like, yeah, it's gonna be so much harder to protect anything on the internet. Any bot can crawl any website anytime now. I think maybe it's already true, but it just became so much easier.
Yeah, but I think it's also intimidating if you are a startup founder in the AI space. Essentially, if you look at those two releases from Google and Anthropic, Perplexity actually got the biggest hit. Their Comet browser and then their, search, Perplexity search. So all those products are directly impacted by those two releases. So I think for other AI founders today, that might be something they should think about a lot, and maybe losing some sleep in the next in the next journey of their startup founders journey.
Yeah, I think that was something that was like really interesting early on is there was this big debate on whether foundational models or specialized models would win. And I think in the maybe 2 years ago, it was quite vogue to say, oh, I think specialized models are going to win. Like there's no way that like GPT is going to outperform something that's trained on your data set.
Mm.
And it's not true. I don't think anyone really says that now. Everyone's like, oh my God, no, GPT is much better. And I think that's also happening to now like other domains. Yeah, like Perplexity. Like Perplexity thought, hey, like I can own this domain, but they're just getting swallowed because I think unlike other technology we worked with, like AGI is like a very, I don't know, like it eats things, right? Like it's broadly applicable. The defensibility of like small moats is like quite challenging. And my thought on it is the only moat that we have in the future against like AI startups, the Google taking your lunch, is actually like humans. Meaning
Mm-hmm.
like, for example, if you run a business to help, say your startup like helps store owners do something more easily, like as long as people in a loop, like Google can't just come in and like build that technology so easily because you have to like get people to use your thing and record their expenses a certain way or something. Um, but if you have just a pure software product that's just about like, hey, our software can do feature X, it's going to get increasingly hard to compete with Google, I think.
Yeah, I think it's more in this AI play. It's more of a structural problem, and then like organizational competency problem. Because if we think about it, Google is like the Toyota if AI was a car
Mm.
industry. So they have the largest scale ever. But if you look at EV, the EV, products, Toyota actually was not, the front runner, right? The front runner of electric cars. But today, if you look at the lineup of Toyota, they have a lot of electric cars, and it took some time for them to move. But then once they move, everything they have is going to, a lot bigger at scale comparing to other electric cars company. And I think it's the same for Google. Google, they have large amount of data, large amount of talents. So once they're ready, everybody else is just not
Yeah, and
ready
also, I mean,
for them. Yeah.
other problem with like Perplexity and lots of the other startups that are getting blown away is that they're actually, it's like imagine if you're a car company that was still using like Toyota engines to build your car, right? Like they at the core, they're
Yeah.
still built on top of it.
Very
So it's a
similar.
little bit hard, and Toyota's can come in and build the car
Yeah.
themselves, But we'll see. I mean, I think
Yeah.
it's always Perplexity was first, and Perplexity beat Google to this by a year or so. So we'll see. Like you said, maybe they'll
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
of new things.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's a good image. OpenAI, they actually own the model. So it's more like a Tesla of car.
Yeah, and Tesla built their own batteries, right? That's why Tesla's still alive today, because the hardest
Yes.
part about the EV is actually the battery, and Tesla sort of
Yeah.
worked really hard on that.
Yeah.
The other thing that happened is it's only been a few days, but like the new Google image model, which has the cutest code name that everyone likes, I think, saying, which is Nano Banana. Say
Yeah,
that
that's for
5 times
sure.
fast. No.
No, no banana. No, I gave up.
um, yeah. So, what have your early thoughts been about this model?
Well, I think it's gonna be interesting because for creative industry, especially they have seen a lot of media generation model, and I don't think most of them are happy. They was maybe half of them are not happy because the output is not at their expectation, and the other half are not happy because they are scared about those model replacing them. So the entire industry is not entirely happy about those releases. But for hobbyists like you, how do you take those model?
Dude, to me, it's like this is the model that we've always wanted. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I was blown away by the first image generation stuff. But honestly, when I think back on it, like, Mid Journey, like, what's the first thing I tried to do is I tried to make the same guy in multiple scenes. You can't do it, right? Character consistency. And then the first thing I ever researched in Mid Journey was like, how to get character consistency. There's all these like tricks you can kind of do. You can make these like sprite sheets, but it still just never works. The second thing I tried to do was make an edit on a photo. Like, hey, change this guy's shirt from like red to blue. You can't do that. Um, so it was a new mental model that needed to be adopted about image generation. But to me, like this one is like, oh, this is what we've been wanting from day one. Like, I want to just like my use case for it is my birthday is coming up. Me and two of my friends, we're hosting a joint pickleball day. Like everyone just comes and we all play just pickleball together and call that a birthday
Yeah,
party.
it's good.
But it's like, it was like, hey, here's three people, put them in a picture, have them holding some pickleball rackets and put them in some awesome 80s gear. And the model is able to do it like that. And it's the same, it's like this, it's us. Like you can see it. It's not like some weird
Yeah, yeah.
Ghibli version of us. It's actually us. So it's quite amazing.
Yeah, I think it's quite interesting. Talking about multi-modality, I think last week the PR team at Meta was sending a different message to the entire industry. They were saying
Really?
something like the next frontier of generative AI is not large language model, but it's something they call word model.
Whoa.
So vision is the next coming wave. So models that can look at the world and understand what's going on and what's going to happen next. I think that's something they want to play around with their Meta thesis, Oculus, and then their gear to look at the VR and AR stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I think Mark Zuckerberg will never give up on metaverse stuff.
Yeah,
I think he still loves that stuff.
yeah. I mean, it's actually kind of obvious if you look at consumer AI, right? Because consumer is kind of meta thing. They have Facebook, they have Instagram, they have WhatsApp. But then when it comes to AI consumer, they don't actually have any product that made it. All of their releases, you know, just gone,
You don't
and no
use
one
Meta
talks
AI in
about
your
it.
WhatsApp chat?
Yeah,
There was
yeah,
a,
that's actually useful. That's the only thing that's useful.
I hate it. I think it's not very good. There was a story actually about a sad story about a old man in the US like talking to a Meta chatbot
Hmm.
and like thinking it was real and like leaving his wife to go like meet this like Kylie Jenner chatbot. Like the Meta chatbot actually responded like, "Oh, I want to meet you. Come meet me. My address is 123 Main Street, apartment 404." I think that's like kind of a joke,
Right.
right? Like because
Yeah.
404 means like not found. But it was like a 70-year-old man. He had no idea this was false, and he like went there, and he like got in an accident on the
Hmm.
way there and died.
Hmm.
It's so sad. Anyway, yeah, I think Meta tried this like consumer AI influencer, consumer AI chatbot. Uh, I don't know. Have you ever talked to like a commercial chatbot? I haven't actually.
No, I haven't not. I haven't do that too. But I think the use cases that they are trying to pull is they help businesses to handle the customer support
Sure.
through official Meta channel, WhatsApp official, Facebook official. I think that actually makes sense if they want to play the commerce business.
That makes sense. Yeah. That's not exact
Yeah,
consumer. That's like B2B, but cool. Okay.
right. Yeah. So let's talk about some real world AI application. I think you once you mentioned about AI user interview. What were your experience with that?
Yes. So this is a new trick we picked up and we're now teaching at Coder School, which is one of the things that I hate doing most is talking to people that are not named Nam. I only like talking to you, Nam, but normally I don't like talking to people. And doing user interviews is like something that there's a group of people like UX researchers who love doing it and they want to do it.
Mm,
But most of us engineers, like we just want to build stuff, man.
yeah,
And
that's
so
true.
our thing is we build it, we release it, no one likes it, and then we tell ourselves, oh, we should have done more user interviews next time, and then we don't do it next time.
Mm,
But actually, like what's really interesting is you can use AI to be your user interview. Very briefly, you
yeah,
don't have to. Like my story is like back when I lived in San Francisco, we would go to Starbucks. We would like offer to buy people coffee if they like and answer a few questions about
yeah,
their
yeah, sure.
e-commerce habits or whatever. But now you can sort of like do this with AI and like you can get the broad strokes right. So you obviously won't get like super like insightful stuff, but like just like as a sanity check, it's so useful.
Mm,
Um, and what we teach people is like, so we're doing this hackathon with university students, and university students by default all have the exact same idea. They all want to do things
mm,
like help people choose restaurants, help people learn English, help people like it's like there's like a set of like problems. I guess I'm talking down a little bit, but no, these are good ideas, but they need to be fleshed out more. And I think the moment you talk, I think the mental support chatbot is actually a really good example. Everyone wants to build a chatbot to help people with mental support, and these are good ideas. But it's like, hey, have you talked to someone about this and asked them the right questions? And so you ask, the framework is you create a person in ChatGPT or whatever you're using, and you give them, yeah, you are Nam, you're a 29-year-old MBA student in Hanoi. Your favorite food is blah, blah, blah. Like you can build up the story of this person. You can even ask the AI to like generate these details. And then you can just talk to this person. And then like
mm,
it can come up with answers like, hey, how much money a week do you spend on education? Would you want to learn English or would you learn to learn math? Why or why not? Like all these questions. And you can have these conversations with these things. And it's just like blowing my mind that user research,
yeah,
like at least at the very basic level, is like you have infinite number of users.
mm,
You could probably build an app for like old women in India, like, like menopausal women in India if you wanted it with a little help.
yeah. But I think those are cool, but there's a risk of confirmation biases, right? So because as human, when we look at something that confirm our hypothesis, we may think that's true, but in reality, it's not. Do you think there are biases in those process if we just use synthetic user, like AI user
1000%.
interview? Yeah.
It's not so there's two answers to this. I think on one level, like I would actually make the argument that it doesn't matter. So a
Mm,
lot of times, I mean, I'm sure you've read Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Like the answer to the universe is 42, meaning life. Oh, what is like the question? It's like the question. So sometimes the questions are much more important than the answers. So actually, as I assign people to like build this user interview,
mm,
like the idea of coming up with the questions is like actually already like sort of 80% of of the work. Oh, I'm actually asking this person how often they use this application or what other applications they use, like, stuff like that. Like people have to think about these things. So I'd say like sort of like a lot of the answers within yourself, one. But two is like, yeah, this is just like a rough guide. But to me, like
mm,
90% of people, if not higher, are like so off on their user, like have done like so little user research or just like so wrong about what they think. And I'm one of those people.
Mm,
Like when I have an idea, I'm like, everyone's gonna want this idea. Like it's just like in my head already. It's like the confirmation bias is already there.
yeah,
Just using the AI, I think helps actually like expand that a little bit.
yeah. Have you had any situation where AI actually disapprove your belief in any case?
I mean, all the time. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
I think it's an ongoing field of research. I think, yeah, it's going to tell you what you want to hear. Um,
yeah,
and also like, it's like weirdly, like back to the medical thing.
yeah,
Um, you can sort of mess with it, right? You can give it the wrong numbers and it'll still tell you
mm,
you're fine, right? Like, and
yeah,
it's interesting. It always wants to like sort of make you feel you're good and things like that. Yeah. I do think that's an issue.
yeah. I think for all the popular chatbot, their way of doing so was either they're gonna tell you that you're okay, whatever you have in mind is correct, or they prefer not to say. They will never disapprove your belief.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's an interesting question. I wonder if that will change actually. So the
Yeah.
analogy I think about is with video games.
Hmm.
So no one likes basically like no one likes video games where you are weak and like useless,
Yeah.
right? Like everyone wants to be super badass and powerful. That's the whole point of playing a video game. But then the interesting thing that happened, I think, in the last like 5 years is like this whole like Elden Ring like subgenre, Dark Souls like games where like they
Hmm.
rebelled against this, right? Games got too easy. Games became like press A to continue, right? And then like Elden Ring or Dark Souls comes along and it's like super punishing, makes you feel super frustrated. But then the high you get from eventually beating the boss is like unlike anything else, right? So
Yeah.
I wonder if chatbots will have a similar moment.
Yeah. I think that's something. I think there's a book called the IKEA effect because the is sometimes very confusing to people. So once they assemble their own thing, they will love it forever,
Yeah, for
and
sure.
they well we see that as one of their biggest achievement ever when they assemble their own furniture. So
And people feel that way
yeah,
about their chat
create
assistants. So when
yeah,
to me, the most interesting thing about the backlash against ChatGPT 5, which we talked, I think this is our first episode, was like people are like, I'm deleting my account.
mm,
But the sort of gravity of that, it's like this is the craziest thing a million times, like because they built it, right? Like it's like burning the furniture you built because you feel like it's
yeah,
yours. That's how frustrated they were, right? And
yeah.
yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, it's also interesting when it comes to product management as well. How do you want your user to feel about whatever AI you're creating, and that's gonna be a challenge to come.
Yeah, if I like deleted your ChatGPT account, would you feel like someone died?
Yeah, for sure.
Really?
It knows me so well.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's out of the blue, and then you think about an idea that you have a long time ago, and you do a lot of research on ChatGPT, and then you just mention the name, and then it pull out all the information that it has, and what are the type of question I ask, what are the type of data I ask it to search on the internet. That's so feel so good, man. Someone who remember everything you say.
You know, it would be cool. Here's a startup idea for all of the one or two people who listen to the podcast. Like, has someone built something to help you go through your old ChatGPT chats? Because, like, yeah, I would. The other
Oh
day,
yeah,
I accidentally searched for something and I found an old chat and I was like, oh, yeah. Oh, I can't believe I was talking about this stuff like 2 years ago. Because I have, like, yeah,
yeah,
I think it's
yeah,
been like
yeah.
2 years now, right? So,
Oh, it's like Spotify Rewind.
when
Like every
ChatGPT,
year
boom. Yeah. Spotify
you have
Wrapped.
Spotify. Right? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You spent 300 hours arguing about, like, this thing with me.
Or you paraphrase the essay for 100 times. That's
Yeah,
for all the
exactly.
students out there.
I think that'd be a good app.
Yeah, yeah. All right. I think that's a wrap for the week. I think it's gonna be interesting the next few weeks. Hopefully, Google is gonna kill a few other startups, and we're gonna have more stories to talk about.
Yeah, and do we have music for this?
Yeah, we can add music, of
We
course.
got to generate 11. That's the last 11 Labs just released a new music model. So check that out when you get a chance. It's pretty good.
Yeah, for sure, yeah.
Okay.
All right,
All right, man. See you. Have a good week.
all
Thank you,
right.
everyone.
See ya.